Have you ever tried pasting hex code into Houdini, only to realize that suddenly your colors just don't look the same anymore? Hi, I'm Joachim, and today I want to share a free Houdini digital asset that I made that makes the process of converting sRGB hex values into Houdini a lot easier. This makes working with colors in Houdini super fun and allows you to experiment with different color combinations in various ways. So let's take a look at how we can use this tool. So the reason for creating this tool came from the need of being able to bring in colors from sRGB into AcesCG. A lot of times when I'm working with clients, I'll often get these brand guidelines where I need to match a specific color from 2D to 3D. And usually these guidelines will include a hex code, but if I copy this hex code into Houdini, the colors won't quite match. So to demonstrate this, I'm just going to copy this hex code here. And if we head into Houdini, here I have two grids. The grid on the left already have a texture assigned to its shader. And this texture have the same yellow color, but just applied as a texture map. So I've just loaded it in here as a PNG file. And then we can go into our other material and drop down a RS color abs node. I'm going to pipe this into the emission color channel. And then we can go into this color channel here and paste in our hex code. Just like so. And then if I hit render, we'll see that we do get a yellow color, but it doesn't match the texture. So this is where a tool comes in handy, because it tries to solve the mismatch between color spaces for us. So let me show you how it works. If I search for hex to AcesCG, we can drop down our HDA. At the top, we're able to load in external color palettes from either .ac files, .gltf files, or even .txt files. But we'll get back to that a little bit later. In the next field is where we can add colors manually. And we can do so by hitting this plus button. And then we can give this color a name. And in the next field, we can add the hex code, which will bring us to the last field, which shows us a preview of the same color. Worth mentioning is that this hex code works with or without hashtag, so it will bring the same result. So that's good to know. All right, next we can either copy this parameter, or we can just copy this newly created hex code, which is compatible with AcesCG. So I'm going to go back to my texture here for the grid on the right, and I'm going to hit render. And then if we paste this new hex code, we'll see that it updates and now it matches. Let's go back into our example file and see what else we can do. Back in SOPs, I'm just going to go ahead and add the other colors that we had in our guidelines. And I'm going to do this by just clicking this plus button to add a new color. Alright, so now I've manually brought over my color palette, and what I can do from here is to either generate color SOPs, which will create a color SOP for each color. And these you can obviously scatter around and move around in your scene graph as you wish. Aside from color SOPs, we can also generate different types of ramps. By default, the ramp interpolation is set to constant, but you can easily change the mode that you want by just clicking a different option here. So if I hit the Vex ramp button, it'll create a Vex ramp. And here you can replace this little code with your own attributes and drive the ramp that way. Aside from Vex ramps, we can also create Material X ramps, and if you have Redshift, you can also create a RS ramp. And the idea here is that you would copy paste these around into whichever matnet that you're currently working with. Okay, so we've seen how we can load in colors manually, but what if we want to import a pre-made color palette from an external file? Here in Adobe Color, I've already generated a color palette that I'm going to download as a .aec file. And then if we go back to Houdini and navigate to that file, all we got to do is to hit this load palette button, and we can see that the colors gets imported and they'll be converting under the hood to be compatible with AcesCG. And from here, we can obviously generate new color SOPs or Vex ramps or material ramps, whatever you need. So I'm just going to copy paste this HDA again. And then I'm going to head over to this website that I found called coolers.co. It's pretty fun. You just hit the spacebar and then it generates colors for you. So let's say that I want to bring in this color, for example. I can just hit export, download as a .aec file. And if I head back to Houdini, I can load this new color palette. Just hit load, and there it is. As mentioned previously, we can also load regular .txt files. I'm just going to copy this HDA once more. So here, I just asked ChatGPT to give me 10 random colors and describe them by their hex values and put them on a separate line. So if we load this in, Here's the .txt. And I can just hit load. And then it will bring in those colors from that txt file. So this makes it very easy and fun to discover new color palettes and different methods of creating color palettes. So if, for example, you can ask any text-based AI to generate a color palette based on a mood, based on a theme, or whatever might be needed for your specific project. So this tool is designed to work as a small utility tool that you can easily share with your friends and coworkers, copy around in your scene, and generate ramps and color SOPs from. But it can also work in conjunction with a regular SOP network. So here I just have some spheres that I've copied onto a grid. And if I plug this HJ into my points, I can hit the Apply to Points button. And then it will color the points for us. And by default, it will take the first color that it finds, which in this case is this color. But you can easily override this by just writing in the name of the said color that you want. Like so. We have a random mode, which will assign random colors to each point. And then we have a cycle mode, which will assign colors based off of the point number. And you can remap these as you wish. Bear in mind though that this is running a Python script in the background. So if you do have a lot of points, this might get really slow. Lastly, we also have a specific attribute mode where we can apply an attribute upstream and use that to drive our color selection. So here I just have an attribute, so I'm just going to copy this over and place it in here. And now we can see that this noise is driving the color selection. Again, this is running a Python script in the background. So if you have a lot of points, it's better to just generate a regular vex ramp and then have your custom attribute drive it this way instead. But in this case, it doesn't really matter because we have so few points.
So yeah, that's about it. I hope you found this tool useful. I'll be releasing this for free on my Gumroad. A link will be in the description of this video. And if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.